Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Venus. Thank you for joining me for this quick live pop-up broadcast here on Instagram, or if you are watching a replay on YouTube or Facebook, welcome for this, I believe, a very informative, helpful broadcast that all witches need to come to this realization. And that realization is you were never making wishes as a little girl or a little boy. You were always doing witchcraft. It was never you wishing. It was always witchcraft. Always. There is a big difference between wishes and witchcraft. Wishes are what you make on a birthday cake. Witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature to bring about real, significant, and permanently positive change in the witch's life. A wish is a hope and something other than Hecate. Witchcraft is complete, total, 100% trust in the queen of witches, Hecate. She is your source. She is the goddess that adds her strength to your own efforts. A lot of witches have got to stop doubting themselves. A lot of witches have got to stop doubting their own strength. A lot of witches must stop doubting their inner power that was bestowed upon them when they chose to become a witch. Now, there are some witches now that was born in a family of witches, but most witches today chose to be a witch. In either case, you were always doing witchcraft. You could ask for something. You could think of something. You could have a dream. You could have a vision, and it just comes true. It just happens for you. And you wonder why. Is it because of the birthday wish I made on candles that made it come true? No. It was witchcraft. When you do witchcraft, you have to do real world action. It's not enough to just do a spell and sit down and do nothing else. You have to make a real effort. If you want that house, money, fame, fortune, clothes, jewelry, whatever it is, you have to put real effort into it. You have to show Hecate, the queen of witches, that you are serious about what you are asking her to perform for you. When you are a witch, you work alongside Hecate, the queen of witches, and you petition her by showing praise, worship, admiration, appreciation, gratitude for her presence in your life, so that she can be petitioned to add her strength to your own efforts with no sorrow. With no sorrow. With no sorrow means there will be no problems to follow for whatever type of spell, ritual, hex, or curse that you perform. And that's how it must be. If something goes wrong after you do a spell, it's because Hecate has not added her strength, therefore also her protection, while you were doing that spell work. Maybe Hecate has given you sign after sign after sign not to do that spell, and you did it anyway. You went against her voice. You made a choice to ignore Hecate, and the consequences were dire. The consequences led to you experiencing grief and sometimes loss. When you do witchcraft, instead of making a wish, you are doing real world action. Real world action. You have to do something. How often have I said, nothing changes if nothing changes? You have to do something. in the real world so that something in the supernatural world can move in your favor, and something will move in your favor if you are doing witchcraft. Making wishes don't help us as witches. Witches don't make wishes. Witches do witchcraft. Witches want real significant and, more importantly, I believe, permanently positive change, to not go back to the life we once knew, to go back to the life that had grief and loss and anguish and horrible, terrible life experiences. We don't want to go back to that. That's why witches do witchcraft, to have real significant and permanently positive change. If you are a witch that is making wishes instead of doing witchcraft, that's why you don't see change. That's why you don't see abundance, prosperity, love, fame, fortune, because you are making wishes instead of doing witchcraft. When all of us, most of us, was little, we were thinking we were making wishes. No, it was witchcraft, because we took affirmative action. We took real action to make that spell work. And that's why it worked. That's why when we blew out those candles on that cake to say we want a house, we went out to go get the house. We went out to get the clothes, the jewelry, the fame, the fortune, the money, the man, the woman, whoever, whatever. We put real action behind it. We put real action behind it. You have to do something. Something has to change within you as a witch. That change, I firmly believe, comes by being a devotee of Hecate, the Queen of Witches. When you are a devotee of Hecate, the Queen of Witches, you don't want to go back to the way life once was. You don't remember that life. You don't want anything to do with that life. That life is not you. That's your old name. That's your old address. That's your old friends. That's your old family. You want a life more abundantly. You want a life of more prosperity. You want a life well lived. You want your story to end with generational wealth, with generational blessing. You want your life story to end with generational wealth, with generational blessing. You want to be the witch that rises up and break that generational curse. And you will be that witch that breaks that generational curse. It will be you. It will be me. If you are doing witchcraft. I said this 100 times, and I'll say it again. Only a witch, not a Christian, Muslim, or Jew. Only a witch can break a generational curse. That's it. That's it. That's all, period. Because witches work alongside the supernatural activity that's causing that generational curse to course through our bloodline. And we know how to break it. We know how to send it on its way. We know how to make sure that it never returns. Because we are doing witchcraft, not making wishes. Witches are for little children that blow out candles on birthday cake. That is for children, wishes. That's not for us, witches. Witches do witchcraft. Witches do witchcraft. We don't have time or energy to waste on making wishes. We do witchcraft. Witchcraft is not always easy. Witchcraft is not always easy. It's not always glamorous. It's not. Sometimes it can be really hard. But if you stick with it, if you stick with doing the real world action that is required for you to have that fame, fortune, abundance, prosperity, real significant, permanently positive change, you will have it. Hecate will stand in the gap, fill in the gap with things that's not happening in your life. She will. She will. I'm telling you, she will. I've experienced it. I know of other witches. I know of other high priests and high priestesses that has experienced it, that Hecate stands in the gap for witches who petition her and know from the jump off, from the start, that they will do real world action. It's not enough to just do a spell. It's not enough to just do a spell. You have to do real world action. That's it. That's how you make your spells work. But when you make a wish on a birthday cake, you don't have to do any real world action, because there's no effort, there's no initiative, there's no reason to do anything, because it's just a wish. And witches don't make wishes. Witches do witchcraft. So I wanted to come on here very quickly, this wasn't long, and talk about this and tell witches exactly who, what, and how to do witchcraft, how to make their spells work, so that they can have a life of real, significant, and permanently positive change, which must be 3 things happening in every witch's life. So thank you, witches. Once again, my name is High Priestess Autumn Phoenix. Be sure to share this broadcast with a witch or 2 or 3 that needs to be informed that there is a big difference between witches and witchcraft. There's a big difference between wishes and witchcraft. So be sure to tell your friends and family that there is a high priestess here in New York who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches Hecate to be a voice for witches who have ears to hear and hands to receive Hecate's best. Bye, everyone.